Mara woke before the first rays of sunlight touched the silver towers of Lumora. The city was already alive, with hovercars whizzing above the streets and workers hurrying to their destinations. Yet, for Mara, the day always began with the same quiet, steady routine. She knelt beside her daughter's bed, brushing back her dark hair and adjusting the blankets. Lena slept peacefully, her small chest rising and falling with gentle rhythm, oblivious to the struggles waiting for them outside. Lena was 7 years old, her eyes bright with curiosity and wonder, but her body refused to cooperate the way other children's did. A rare condition had left her legs weak and unresponsive. No doctor on Lumora could give her the gift of walking, and the advanced technology of the city seemed out of reach for a mother with little money and no family to support her. "Good morning, Lena," Mara whispered, lifting her daughter gently. She held her close, feeling the familiar weight in her arms. Carrying Lena to school every day had become second nature, but it did not make it any easier. Her arms ached, her back stiffened, yet she never complained. Every step she took was a promise to her daughter. She would not let the world make Lena feel small or unworthy. The streets of Lumora were a mix of glimmering architecture and bustling life. Automated shops opened their shutters with smooth, mechanical precision, and small drones delivered packages from building to building. Mara navigated through the crowd carefully, holding Lena close so she would not be jostled by the passing workers and citizens. Despite the marvels surrounding them, Mara often felt invisible, like her struggles were unseen in a city obsessed with speed and efficiency. "Look, Mama," Lena said softly, pointing at a hovering billboard displaying the latest model of personal hover vehicles. "Do you think I could ride one someday?" Mara smiled, brushing a loose strand of hair from Lena's forehead. "Of course, sweetheart," she said. "One day, you'll fly higher than anyone else." She did not tell Lena how much she doubted that future. She could not afford the machines, and Lena's legs made ordinary walking a challenge, let alone flying in a hover vehicle. But Mara had learned long ago that hope was the only thing that could keep her moving forward, even when the odds seemed impossible. Every morning, the walk to school was long and exhausting. The streets of Lumora were clean and bright, but they were not built for someone carrying a child every day. Mara had to avoid the slippery glass pavements, step over crowded corners, and carefully maneuver around speeding transport pods. Sometimes, she imagined what it would be like to own a device that could carry Lena safely, or a simple mobility suit that could make the journey easier. But dreams like that were expensive, and Mara's wages from her work at the city's recycling plant were barely enough to cover rent and food. As they moved along the streets, other children zipped past on hoverboards, laughing and playing. Mara felt a pang of longing in her chest. Lena's laughter and curiosity matched the other children's, yet her body limited her. Mara's eyes softened as she looked down at her daughter, who watched the other kids with wide eyes. "I wish I could run with them, Mama," Lena said quietly. "Just for a little while." Mara tightened her hold, feeling a mix of pain and determination. "One day, Lena, one day, you'll run farther than anyone else." She did not know how that day would come, but she promised it anyway. Promises, she realized, were as much a lifeline for her as they were for Lena. The school was several kilometers away. Along the way, Mara often had to stop to rest, finding benches or corners where she could set Lena down for a few moments. People passed them by, some offering polite smiles, others avoiding eye contact entirely. Mara noticed that in Lumora, people admired strength but rarely acknowledged struggle unless it directly affected them. Still, she refused to let the indifference of others deter her. Every day she carried Lena was a lesson in perseverance, and every step she took was a quiet act of love. Once, an elderly man had stopped her on the street. "You're strong," he said simply, eyes kind beneath his silver hair, "stronger than most of us realize." Mara had nodded, a small smile breaking through her exhaustion. Those words stayed with her longer than she expected. They reminded her that human strength was not measured only in muscle or money, but in heart and determination. Finally, after what felt like hours, Mara reached the gates of Lena's school. The building was sleek and modern, with transparent walls showing classrooms filled with students exploring holographic lessons and interactive experiments. Teachers moved efficiently, guiding students through simulations of distant planets and scientific models. Lena's eyes sparkled as she looked at the lessons, her curiosity undimmed by her disability. Mara set Lena down gently at the entrance. "Go on, Lena," she said softly. "Learn everything you can. The world is yours to explore." Lena hugged her tightly, a quick squeeze that Mara returned with all the warmth she could muster. Then, with the help of a friendly teacher, Lena wheeled herself into the school, her mind already lost in the wonders awaiting her. The moment she was gone, Mara felt the weight in her arms disappear. She leaned against the wall, breathing deeply, letting herself rest for just a few minutes before the walk home. The city's noise surrounded her. But Mara's thoughts were quiet, focused on her daughter's future. She knew that she could not do this alone forever. Something, or someone, would need to step in to help Lena reach her dreams. On the way home, Mara passed by the Starship Hub, where humans and alien species mingled. Ships of every shape and color lined the docks, and engineers worked tirelessly on repairs and upgrades. Mara often stopped to watch, imagining Lena among the stars, exploring the planets she had only seen in holographic lessons. The idea warmed her heart and stirred a longing she could barely contain. That evening, back in their small apartment, Mara prepared a simple meal. Lena chattered about her day, excited about a new experiment in her science class. Mara listened, smiling despite her exhaustion. She loved these moments, when Lena's mind was full of wonder and possibility. She wished more than anything that she could give Lena the world she dreamed of. The freedom to move, to explore, to live fully. As night fell, Mara sat by Lena's bed, holding her daughter's hand. She whispered stories of distant stars and adventures, of brave explorers and humans who made the impossible happen. Lena listened, eyes wide and sparkling even as sleep tugged at her. "Mama," she said sleepily, "do you think humans can really do anything?" Mara smiled, brushing her daughter's hair gently. "Yes, Lena. Humans can do incredible things. Sometimes, they just need someone to give them a chance." Mara left the room quietly, knowing that tomorrow would be much like today. Long, tiring, but filled with love and hope. She would carry Lena again, through streets full of strangers and wonders, believing that one day, someone would help turn their dreams into reality. Because humanity, Mara knew, had a power greater than technology or wealth. It had heart, resilience, and the courage to give others a future. And somewhere in the city, beyond the crowded streets and glowing towers, someone was watching. A human who had noticed Mara and Lena's daily struggle. Someone whose curiosity and compassion might just change everything. Mara did not know it yet, but her life and Lena's future was about to be touched by the very best of what humans could offer. For now, she rested, holding on to hope. Because hope, Mara understood, was the first step toward every impossible journey, the spark that could ignite a future no one had imagined. Mara woke to the soft hum of Lumora's morning energy. The city was alive with movement, lights flickering across the towering buildings, and hover vehicles gliding silently above the streets. She stretched her stiff arms, already anticipating the familiar weight of her daughter in her arms. Lena was still asleep, curled under the thin blanket, her small face peaceful. Despite her exhaustion, Mara felt a quiet determination. Today would be like every other day, yet she hoped it would be a little lighter, a little easier. As Mara prepared Lena for the day, she thought about the walk to school. It was long and tiring, but she had grown used to the rhythm, the careful navigation around crowded streets, the balancing of Lena in her arms, and the occasional resting spots along the way. Still, she longed for something that could make the journey easier. A simple solution that seemed just out of reach. When she stepped outside, the city already buzzed with activity. Humans and other species moved through the streets with purpose. Mara adjusted Lena in her arms and began the familiar trek. But today, something was different. Amid the crowd, a man stood watching, his attention fixed on her. He was tall, with silver-streaked hair, and eyes that seemed to see more than the ordinary. He wore a simple tunic and carried a small tool case, but it was the calm confidence in his demeanor that drew Mara's attention. The man, Dr. Kale, had been observing the city for weeks. He was a human engineer who traveled from colony to colony, studying how technology could improve lives. Today, he had noticed something that stood out among the ordinary. Mara, carrying a small child through the bustling streets, moving with unwavering determination despite the visible strain. He saw her strength, the way she balanced her daughter with care, and the love that radiated from every gesture. It was the kind of human resilience that inspired him, and he felt compelled to help. As Mara navigated a particularly crowded corner, KL stepped forward. "Excuse me," he called gently, careful not to startle her. Mara looked up, startled but wary. Humans in Lumira were often too busy to notice anyone outside their own concerns. "I couldn't help but notice your daughter," Kale continued. "She is very bright. And you are remarkably strong." Mara hesitated. She had learned to be cautious with strangers, especially those who offered help without explanation. "Thank you," she said quietly, shifting Lena in her arms. "We manage. We always manage." Kale smiled, sensing her reluctance. "I can see that. But managing should not be this hard. May I help?" His tone was calm, respectful, and Mara felt a strange sense of trust she could not explain. For the first time in years, Mara allowed herself to hope. "How? How could you help?" she asked cautiously, her voice tinged with curiosity and disbelief. Kale opened his tool case, revealing a small device filled with delicate circuits and compact mechanisms. "I am an engineer. I design solutions for humans like you. I believe everyone deserves the freedom to explore, to learn, and to move without unnecessary struggle. I would like to design something for your daughter, something that will allow her to walk and move with independence." Mara blinked, unable to speak for a moment. She had dreamed of this, prayed for it, but the reality seemed impossible. I don't know if I can accept this," she stammered. "You don't have to decide now," Kale said gently. "I will follow you to school tomorrow, and if you agree, we can start. I only wish to give Lena a chance to experience the world fully." The next day, Mara's heart raced as she carried Lena to school, knowing Kale would be waiting. True to his word, he stood by the gate, observing quietly. When Mara approached, he held out a small, sleek device, lightweight, adaptable, and designed specifically for Lena. "This is for her," he said simply. "It is called a mobility suit. It is designed to support her legs and help her move naturally. It is safe, and it is hers to use as she likes." Mara looked at the device, her eyes wide with disbelief. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. Sleek metal supports molded to fit a child's legs, soft padding for comfort, and a control system simple enough for Lena to use without difficulty. The ingenuity was unmistakable, and Mara felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes. Can she really walk with this?" she asked softly. "Yes," Kale replied. "I have tested it. She will move with ease, and in time, she may even run. The human body is resilient, and the mind is stronger than any limitation. She only needs a chance." Mara knelt beside Lena and explained the device. Lena's eyes widened with excitement, sparkling with curiosity and hope. "Can I really walk, Mama?" she asked, her voice trembling with joy. "Yes, Lena," Mara said, holding her daughter close. "Today, you will take your first steps without my help." Kale guided Lena as she stood in the device. At first, she wobbled, unsure of how to balance herself. Her legs, now supported and assisted by the technology, moved in ways they never had before. Mara held her hands, steadying her, while Lena's face lit up with delight. Step by step, she moved forward, her laughter filling the air like music. Mara felt a weight lift from her chest, tears streaming freely. "You're amazing, Lena," she said. "You're really walking." Kale watched, a quiet satisfaction warming him. This was why he traveled from planet to witness moments like this, where human ingenuity and compassion combined to change lives. He understood, more than anyone, the power humans had to give others a future they could not imagine alone. Over the following weeks, Mara and Lena practiced with the mobility suit. Lena grew more confident each day, exploring streets and playgrounds she had never imagined reaching. The suit allowed her to interact with other children on equal footing, her laughter and excitement drawing attention wherever she went. Mara, no longer burdened by the daily trek, could rest and focus on other tasks, finding time to support neighbors and contribute to her community. The impact of the suit went beyond Lena. Mara noticed how other families began to look at the possibilities, inspired by what technology combined with compassion could achieve. Humans across Lumora began small initiatives, creating affordable aids and devices for those who had been left behind. Kale's actions had sparked a movement, showing the human ability to innovate not just for profit, but for the betterment of others. One afternoon, Mara watched Lena run freely in the schoolyard, her movements natural and joyous. She had grown stronger, more confident, and full of life. The other children accepted her easily, no longer seeing a difference. Only a peer eager to explore, learn, and play. Mara felt pride unlike anything she had known, but also gratitude. Gratitude for the human who had recognized their struggle and chosen to intervene. "You've changed our lives," Mara said to Kale one evening, as they watched Lena sleep after a long day of school and play. Kale smiled, quietly humble. "I only provided a tool. Humanity provides the rest. People like you, who never give up, who persevere. Those are the moments that truly matter." Lena's spirit was always strong. Now it has the chance to grow without limits. Mara reflected on his words, understanding them deeply. The city of Lumora, with all its marvels, had never seemed more alive. It was not the towering buildings, the hover cars, or the technology that made it special. It was the humans, their capacity for kindness, their resilience, and their creativity. One small act, one gesture of care, had changed the trajectory of her daughter's life. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Lina thrived academically and socially, her curiosity growing with each passing day. The mobility suit became a part of her, no longer a tool but an extension of her own determination. Mara, witnessing her daughter's transformation, understood something profound. Humanity's strength lay not only in what it created, but in the way it gave others the chance to succeed. Kale continued to visit, mentoring Lena in the basics of engineering and design. He encouraged her to dream, to imagine possibilities beyond the city limits, and to see herself as a creator of her own future. Mara observed these interactions with quiet awe. Her daughter, once confined by physical limitations, was now planning projects, exploring inventions, and imagining adventures among the stars. The ripple effect was undeniable. Other families sought Kale's guidance, and soon, a small network of humans dedicated to innovation for the disabled emerged. It was a community that embodied the essence of what Mara had always believed. Humans had the power to uplift each other, to build futures filled with hope, possibility, and equality. One evening, as Mara and Kale watched Lena practice with a small hoverboard designed for young learners, Mara whispered, "You've given her so much more than movement. You've given her freedom." Kale nodded, "And she has given me hope. Humanity thrives when we lift each other up, when we recognize the potential in every individual. Lena is proof of what is possible when hearts and minds come together." Mara smiled, feeling a warmth that extended beyond relief or gratitude. It was the knowledge that her daughter's future, once uncertain and limited, was now open, limitless, and bright. For the first time in her life, Mara truly believed in the power of human innovation combined with compassion. As the city lights of Lumora reflected off the silver towers, Mara realized that their journey was only beginning. Lena would grow, learn, and explore. Not just the city, but the stars beyond. And every step, every achievement, was a testament to humanity's enduring strength, the ability to see a need, act with kindness, and give others a future they never thought possible. Lena woke with the sun spilling golden light across her small room. She stretched her arms and looked around, excitement already buzzing through her tiny frame. Today was different from other days. She was no longer the child who had to rely on her mother to carry her everywhere. Today, she could explore, move, and play with a freedom she had never known. Mara entered the room with a warm smile, holding a simple breakfast on a tray. Lena's eyes lit up when she saw her mother, her energy infectious. "Mama, look, I can walk without your arms today," she said, hopping slightly on her mobility suit. Mara's heart swelled with pride and a mix of disbelief. It was still remarkable, still almost unreal. How quickly her daughter had adapted. "You can do amazing things, Lena," Mara said softly, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's face. "But remember, every step you take is yours. I'm just here to cheer you on." The morning passed with laughter and movement. Lena practiced walking, climbing small steps, and even trying to keep up with some of the other children. The teachers at school were amazed at her progress. They had seen many children with potential, but Lena's determination, combined with the mobility suit, allowed her to do more than anyone had expected. As the days turned into weeks, Lena's confidence grew. She started participating in science projects and experiments, her curiosity limitless. She tinkered with small gadgets, often asking Mara and KL questions about how machines worked. KL, who continued visiting regularly, encouraged her to dream big. "Humans have always built solutions to problems," he said one afternoon, as they worked on a small robotics project in Lena's school lab. "And now you're doing the same. Remember, Lena, it's not the size of the machine that matters, but the imagination behind it." Lena listened intently, absorbing every word. She began creating simple devices on her own, a small sensor to detect obstacles, a miniature robotic arm to move objects, and even a tiny model of a hoverboard she hoped to ride someday. Her creations were modest, but filled with creativity and insight. Mara watched quietly, feeling a profound sense of awe at her daughter's intelligence and persistence. The transformation in Lena also changed Mara's life. No longer burdened by the daily trek to school, Mara had time to pursue projects she had once only dreamed of. She began volunteering at community centers, helping other families with children facing challenges. She shared her experiences and encouraged others to explore the possibilities that technology and human kindness could provide. In a city that often felt impersonal and rushed, Mara's presence was a reminder of the human capacity for care, determination, and connection. One afternoon, Mara and Lena visited the city's science museum. It was a place of wonder, filled with exhibits showing humans' achievements across generations and planets. Lena moved confidently through the halls, her mobility suit allowing her to explore exhibits she had once only dreamed of reaching. She marveled at the models of spacecraft, the interactive displays of planets, and the robotic inventions that humans had developed over centuries. "Look, Mama, they built machines to explore worlds we haven't even seen," Lena exclaimed, her eyes shining with awe. Mara smiled, feeling the familiar stir of hope and pride. "Yes, Lena," she said, "humans have always used their curiosity and creativity to reach beyond their limits. And now, you are learning to do the same." Kale joined them at the museum, bringing with him small blueprints for a project he wanted Lena to try. "I thought you might like to design a small rover," he said, showing her the sketches. "It can move over rough surfaces, like a miniature explorer for new worlds." Lena's hands trembled with excitement. "Can I really build it?" she asked eagerly. Kale nodded. Yes, and I will guide you when needed, but you will do the thinking and the designing. Over the next few weeks, Lena worked tirelessly on her rover. She experimented, adjusted designs, and learned from mistakes. Mara watched as her daughter's curiosity turned into skill, and skill into innovation. The mobility suit had not only given Lena physical freedom but also opened her mind to possibilities she had never imagined. The community began to notice the changes. Other families, inspired by Mara and Lena, sought ways to help their children grow. Volunteers and engineers started small projects to create assistive technology, proving that human ingenuity combined with empathy could transform lives. Mara often spoke at these gatherings, sharing her story of perseverance and hope. It's not only the machines that make a difference, she said. It's the heart, the willingness to help, and the belief that every child deserves a chance. At home, evenings were filled with learning and creativity. Mara and Lena would work together on small projects, sometimes following Kale's guidance, other times allowing Lena to explore her own ideas. They built miniature drones, tested sensors, and even created small robotic companions. Lena's laughter echoed through the apartment, a sound that had been rare in the early days of her disability. Mara felt an overwhelming sense of joy. Her daughter's world had expanded beyond the small apartment, beyond the streets, and now reached toward the stars. Lena's growth also strengthened their bond. Mara no longer felt the constant weight of responsibility pressing on her shoulders. She could watch her daughter flourish, knowing that human kindness, combined with determination, had created a foundation for a better future. The mobility suit had given Lena independence, but humanity had given her the opportunity to dream. One day, the school announced a science fair. Lena, eager to participate, signed up immediately. She decided to present her rover project, combining everything she had learned and invented over the past months. Mara and Kale helped her refine the design. But it was Lena's creativity and insight that brought the project to life. On the day of the fair, Lena wheeled her rover into the hall, her confidence shining. Students and teachers gathered around, impressed by her design, its simplicity, and its effectiveness. Children who had once ignored her now watched in admiration, inspired by her talent and determination. Mara felt tears in her eyes as she watched her daughter explain the rover's functions, answer questions, and demonstrate its movement over rough terrain. Lena's smile radiated pride, and Mara knew that this was only the beginning. After the fair, Kale knelt beside Lena. "You've done something extraordinary," he said, "not just building the rover, but showing everyone what humans can achieve when they believe in possibilities." Lena beamed. "I just wanted to see what I could do," she said, her voice full of honesty and excitement. "And now I know I can do more." Mara's heart swelled. Her daughter's transformation was not only physical, but mental, emotional, and intellectual. The struggles of the past seemed distant now, replaced by a horizon filled with opportunities. Every effort, every tear, every step taken in those long walks to school had led to this moment of triumph. As weeks passed, Lena's ambition grew. She began dreaming not just of inventions but of exploring space, of traveling to distant planets, of learning the mysteries of the universe firsthand. Kale encouraged her curiosity, guiding her in science, engineering, and design, always reminding her that humans thrived by pushing boundaries. Mara saw her daughter's dreams unfold and realized the extent of humanity's gift. Kale had provided the technology, but it was human empathy, encouragement, and belief that truly shaped Lena's future. The city, once a place of struggle, had become a place of possibility. One evening, as Lena worked on a new project at the kitchen table, Mara reflected on their journey. She remembered the long walks, the exhaustion, and the quiet moments of doubt. She also remembered the kindness of a stranger who chose to intervene, who gave her daughter a chance to experience life fully. Mara understood, deeply, that humans had an incredible ability to change lives, not through power or wealth, but through compassion, innovation, and unwavering belief in the potential of others. Lena looked up from her work, her eyes sparkling. "Mama, do you think humans can really go to other planets one day?" she asked eagerly. Mara smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's forehead. "I know they can, Lena. And one day, you might be among them, discovering new worlds and building machines no one else has imagined." Lena's face lit up with determination. "I want to do that, Mama. I want to go to the stars and see everything humans can create." Mara nodded, feeling a mixture of pride, hope, and awe. Her daughter, once limited by circumstance, now had a future defined only by her imagination and determination. The world, once daunting, had become a place of endless possibilities. As the city lights of Lumora shone through the window, Mara realized something profound. Humanity's strength was not only in its technology or achievements, but in its ability to recognize potential, to uplift others, and to create a future where dreams could take flight. Lena's journey was a testament to that power, a story of hope, perseverance, and the transformative impact of human kindness. And in that moment, Mara understood that the struggles of yesterday had not been in vain. They had prepared her and Lena to receive the gift of possibility, the courage to explore, and the knowledge that humanity, at its best, could give life beyond limitations. The morning sun bathed Lumora in golden light, reflecting off the silver towers and glimmering streets. Lena stood by her window, her mobility suit set aside, and stared at the distant starship docks. The city below hummed with energy, but her thoughts were far beyond the streets. Today was important, not just any day, but the day she would take her first steps toward the dreams that had been growing inside her for months. Mara entered the room carrying a small breakfast tray, her eyes soft with pride. Lena turned to her mother, her expression a mix of excitement and determination. "Mama, today I'm going to see the starship. I want to learn how they work, and maybe someday, fly one myself." Mara smiled, brushing a lock of hair from Lena's face. "You can do anything you want, Lena. The world is waiting for you." She thought back to the long years when she carried her daughter every day, the walks to school that seemed endless, and the struggles that once felt insurmountable. Now, all those hardships had led to this moment, a future full of possibilities. The walk to the starship hub was no longer a struggle. Lena moved independently, her mobility suit aiding her balance. Yet she was strong enough to walk on her own. Mara followed, not carrying her, but walking beside her daughter, marveling at the transformation. The city seemed different now, less daunting, more full of potential. People glanced at Lena with admiration, seeing not a child with limits, but a young human brimming with ambition and curiosity. At the starship docks, the hum of engines, the metallic gleam of hulls, and the organized bustle of engineers filled the air. Lena's eyes widened as she stepped closer, taking in the starships docked along the platforms. This was the place of human ingenuity at its finest, a testament to creativity, courage, and the drive to reach beyond what was known. Dr. Kale met them at the entrance, carrying a small notebook filled with schematics. "I thought you'd like to see this up close," he said, smiling at Lena. "These ships carry humans to distant worlds. One day, you could be among them." Lena's face lit up. "Really? I could fly?" Her voice trembled with hope and excitement. "Absolutely," Kale said. "Humans explore because we dream, and we dream because we are capable. Your dreams are valid, Lena, and I believe you have what it takes to reach the stars." Inside the hub, engineers guided Lena through simulations, explaining how starships operated, how navigation worked, and how humans used both technology and creativity to travel vast distances. Lena absorbed every word, her mind racing with possibilities. She asked questions, sketched ideas in her notebook, and imagined herself building machines that could explore new planets, discover unknown species, and reach places no human had seen before. Mara watched silently, her heart swelling with pride. She realized that the gift Kale had given Lena went beyond a mobility suit. It had unlocked her potential, giving her the confidence, freedom, and curiosity to pursue her dreams. The struggles of the past years of carrying Lena through streets, fighting fatigue, and facing indifference were now the foundation of a future that seemed limitless. Over the next few months, Lena trained at the Starship Hub under Kale's guidance. She learned engineering principles, piloting techniques, and the science of propulsion. Her small hands, once incapable of precise tasks, now skillfully assembled models, calibrated sensors, and tested miniature starship engines. Each success fueled her confidence, while each mistake taught her perseverance. The city began to take notice of Lena's progress. Humans who had once been indifferent to the struggles of others now saw the tangible impact of empathy combined with action. Community projects flourished, focusing on helping children like Lena reach their full potential. The story of Mara and her daughter inspired many. Human resilience, combined with creativity and kindness, could truly transform lives. One afternoon, as Lena worked on a miniature starship prototype, she turned to Kale. "I want to design a ship that can explore planets no one has visited before. I want to learn everything about the stars and bring knowledge back to humans." Kale nodded, pride evident in his eyes. "Then you will, Lena. Humans explore not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Curiosity is in our nature, and courage comes when we pursue it." Mara entered the workshop, carrying tools and materials for Lena's latest project. "You've grown so much," she said, smiling. "I can hardly believe the journey we've had from those long walks to school to seeing you here, building your own dreams." Lena hugged her mother, a tight, grateful embrace. "I couldn't have done it without you, Mama. You never gave up on me, even when things seemed impossible." Mara's eyes glistened. "And you never gave up on yourself, Lena. That is what makes all the difference. Humans can do incredible things when we believe in ourselves and support each other." As the months passed, Lena's abilities continued to expand. She learned to operate advanced simulators, pilot small starship prototypes, and design innovative engines for exploration. She became a symbol of human potential, inspiring other children and adults alike to pursue their dreams, regardless of limitations. The day finally arrived when Lena was ready for her first actual space mission, a test flight on a human exploratory vessel designed for young pilots in training. Mara and Kale accompanied her, watching as she donned the pilot suit, her eyes bright with determination and wonder. "Are you ready?" Kale asked, offering encouragement. "I'm ready," Lena replied confidently, her voice steady. She climbed into the pilot seat, adjusted the controls, and checked the systems. Every movement was precise, every decision thoughtful. Mara held her breath, witnessing the culmination of years of struggle, determination, and human ingenuity. The engines roared to life, lifting the vessel into the sky. Lena's hands moved expertly across the controls, navigating the ship through the atmosphere and into the first stretch of orbit. The city below became a shimmering mosaic, the streets and towers tiny and distant. Lena's heart raced with excitement, but her mind remained focused. She was not only piloting a ship, she was exploring the results of human perseverance, creativity, and compassion. As the vessel glided smoothly through space, Mara felt a profound sense of pride and relief. Her daughter, once limited by circumstance, was now embracing a future of limitless possibilities. The years of struggle, the daily walks to school, the nights of worry, the moments of doubt, had all led to this triumph. Humanity had given them more than technology. It had given them hope, guidance, and the belief that anything was possible. From her window, Lena looked out at the stars, each one representing a world to explore, a possibility to discover, a mystery to unravel. She knew that her journey had only begun. The lessons of the past, the love of her mother, the guidance of Kale, and the generosity of human ingenuity would accompany her through every adventure. When she returned from her flight, Mara hugged her tightly, feeling the warmth and joy radiating from her daughter. "You did it, Lena," she whispered. "You've taken the first step into the future you always dreamed of." Lena smiled, her eyes sparkling. "This is just the beginning, Mama. One day, I'll explore planets, design starships, and maybe even teach other humans how to reach for the stars. Mara nodded, understanding the depth of what Lena said. Humanity's true power was not just in technology, not just in knowledge, but in its ability to nurture potential, to lift others, and to create futures where dreams could flourish. Her daughter's journey was living proof of that. As night fell over Lumora, Mara and Lena stood together on their apartment balcony, looking at the stars that stretched endlessly above the city. Mara reflected on the path that had brought them here, from the early days of struggle to the incredible achievements Lena now pursued. Every hardship, every moment of doubt, had been a stepping stone to this future. In the distance, Kale continued his work, helping others unlock their potential and encouraging them to pursue dreams that had once seemed impossible. Mara realized that the ripple effects of one person's compassion could touch countless lives, inspiring communities and shaping futures across generations. Lena turned to her mother, her voice filled with certainty and hope. "Mama, humans can really do anything if they believe and help each other." Mara smiled, holding her daughter's hand. "Yes, Lena, that is what makes us human. We lift each other up, explore the unknown, and create futures full of possibility. You are living proof of that." The city lights shimmered below, the stars stretched above, and Lena felt a boundless sense of freedom and opportunity. The struggles of the past had been replaced with dreams realized, lessons learned, and a world filled with endless possibilities. Humanity had given her more than movement, it had given her a future. And as the two stood together, watching the horizon, Mara knew one thing with absolute certainty. The journey was just beginning, but with human resilience, creativity, and compassion, Lena would reach further, dream bigger, and inspire more than anyone had ever imagined. The stars were waiting, and Lena was ready.